So I'm in the process of installing Cali Bamboo hardwood flooring, and I figured might as well do a quick video just in case if you're thinking of using this product. So very quickly, right here, this green strip is the underlayment. This is a 3mm thick underlayment. Quite easy to install. One thing you definitely want to wear are gloves, and the reason behind that is, of course, the top is incredibly smooth, but the sides, both ends, both the tongue, let me show you over here, both the tongue, here's the groove, and the tongue is on this end. They're very, very sharp in terms of splinters. You'll get splintered quite often, even when you unbox everything and you have to let it acclimate for at least 5 days in the room. You want to wear gloves. So that being said, of course, you just start to lay everything down. You need a 1/2 inch expansion gap, and I'm using these spacers. I'll show you these very quickly. I just happen to have, you can really use anything that creates a 1/2 inch gap, and I just lay it along the perimeter of the room. So when it comes time to cutting, some people get confused exactly how to cut it. Do you measure from here? Do you measure from here? I'll show you how easy. It's very, very easy. So this is the piece you want, because it goes like this ultimately, okay? So let's say I want it right about here. That looks pretty good to me. And what you want to do, so this piece I need, this is the piece that we want. So you're going to flip it and match it up to that line, okay, to your 1/2 inch expansion gap. Come back here, let me grab a pencil. Pull this back, here it is. So right here, where we need to make the cut. So let me just mark that. We'll go outside, make a quick cut, and we'll wrap this up. So this is the blade I'm using. It's a Makita 80-tooth carbide blade. You want carbide. It cuts through this incredibly easy. I did start with a non-carbide blade, and it was really tough to cut through this. It was actually burning the wood, in fact. The other thing is my blade guard just broke. So I'm just going to do this one quick cut, and then I have to repair that, but I just want to show you guys very, very quickly on how to do this. Now the way this works is right here, you have the groove, and here's your tongue. And you just snap it in, as you can see. I butt it against the expansion gap. And that's it. Now, coming over here, I'm going to apply just a little bit of adhesive. Again, the instructions don't call for this. I just feel a little bit better using a little bit of adhesive. And then when it comes to, let me move the camera back here. So you grab your next piece, insert the groove into the tongue, make sure it's lined up along the entire piece, press it down, and that's it. Now, I also have one of these tools that you place it on the end of the wood and you tap it. Again, not necessary, but it's a nice tool to have. I think it's around $20, $25. You get this tool along with all these spacers. And there you go. Now as I lay down the flooring, I'm just grabbing from different cartons. In other words, you don't want to keep the same color. You want to change up your color. So that's a little darker, that's a little lighter. So just change it up a little bit as you go down the line here. And if you're curious about the subfloor, this house was built in the 50s, and they used 3/4 inch thick planks by 4 inch wide. And what happens is when you rip up the old floor, a lot of these planks, they have knots in them, and they just, a lot of times on the end, they're nailed in with one nail. So you have to replace some of them for sure, but as a extra step of rigidity, I added 1/2 inch plywood. So it's real, real strong. And then it's also very, very flat. So it's a perfect substrate or subfloor before we install the flooring. And when it comes to the end, of installing the last plank. This is the piece that we need. So again, I'm just going to flip it and then rotate it, okay? Make my mark. Okay. Slide it in, snap it down. Then I'll double check my expansion gap here. Okay, we're right on the money. And that's really about it. Now, a couple of things. As you can see, the end wants to rise up here a little bit. That's really why I'm using the adhesive. But once the next piece comes in, I'll show you very quickly. It's going to hold it down in place. There's no lip. Perfectly flush. Now as you lay down the flooring, you will come across moldings and such that you need to cut underneath because you have to keep a 1/2 inch expansion gap along the perimeter. So as you can see, every wall is never perfectly true. So I just keep a 1/2 inch expansion gap. That's why it looks crooked, but really it's because I'm just following the squareness here of the wall. And then when you put down the molding, you won't have a problem. Now, when you do put down the molding, if let's say it looks something like this, and you have a little bit of a gap, you could put a 1/4 round molding to cover that up, okay? Now, if you do need to cut anything, these are terrific. This is an oscillating tool. This does a terrific job cutting under any moldings, thresholds, things like that. In my case, I did have a marble threshold leading from the bedroom to the bathroom, but the marble threshold I had to just replace, unfortunately. And I just couldn't get the wood underneath the marble, and I had to, unfortunately, smash it up and remove it. But for the most part, you can use an oscillating tool to cut any wood. These tools are awesome. I do plan on having a video very, very shortly just showing this oscillating tool. It does a really, really nice job. So that's what it takes to lay down one of these floorings. It's really not too hard. Once you start it, you'll get a really nice flow going. It goes pretty quickly, it really does. So I hope this gives you a pretty good idea what you can expect. Any questions, just leave it in the comment box below, and thanks for watching.